Hello, welcome to the Fiber Tales podcast. This is a podcast about knitting and designing. I am Lærke. I'm the person behind Fiber Tales. You can find me on Instagram and on Ravelry as Fiber Tales. And I'm coming to you from Odense, Denmark. Where it's a grey and not so pretty day, so I hope the lighting will be okay. This is the first time doing a podcast and I'm a little bit nervous, and I've been thinking about doing this for the longest time, and every time I chicken out and I hold back because I would like it to be perfect, and it's not going to be perfect the first time, and I just accepted that. I'm doing this on my phone. It will be might be not the best quality, but I simply have to try it, because if I keep thinking about it, it's just gonna be never gonna happen. So, and also English is not my first language, as you can hear, and it's not funny because you always think about what people will think, and I know perfectly well that when I watch other podcasters with a not perfect English, I don't mind. So I hope you won't mind either. I have a little cup of tea in my, let's see if I can show it without spilling the hot tea, in my, I think he's called Stinky. He's a character from the Moomins, and I love him. He's the evil one. So I would like to start this podcast off by explaining why I'm doing this. I mean, many people are doing podcasts, so there must be something in all of us that makes us want to do this, but I really wanted to be part of this community and give back, because I watch so many podcasts, and I really love watching podcasts. I love learning about what other people are knitting, learning about new techniques, new yarns, seeing what people knit in different countries. So I thought this might be interesting for a lot of you. And since I started designing, I also would like to explain a little bit more about my designs, and I show a lot of my designs on Instagram, but on Instagram you can only tell so much, and it's gonna be really, I don't like doing these long descriptions. I don't know if people really read them, so I would like this platform to explain a little bit more about my designs and just talk about everything I'm doing. So that's the plan, and let's see how that goes. So let's get started. So the first thing I would like to talk about is finished objects. Like everybody, I will be talking about finished objects first. And I actually just finished an object that I've been working on for a long time. This is a pattern by Knitting for Olive. It's called Tuva. And it's a little sweater. And it's knit from one sleeve all the way to the other one, and here you will see something happen, and it was not planned. It has a beautiful cable detail down the middle, and I actually changed it so the cables are mirrored. They were not in the pattern, and the cable continues in the neckline and all the way down. It has some short row shaping, and other than that it's really simple and nice and squishy garter stitching. I guess here you can see the yarn a bit better. It's a wool blend with a tiny bit of silk. So it looks a bit, maybe not so even as normally, and that is because I have washed it, but it's because the yarn is a yarn I got from an old sweater. So I did a bit of unraveling after watching, how is she called, Wool Needles Hands podcast, and she was doing the Great Unravel, I think last year. So I unraveled this yarn, and you can see it's super, not straight anymore. And so I only had the amount from the sweater. The sweater was a big stripy old sweater, and I of course ran out of yarn in the end. But I actually don't think it matters that much. You can see it just has like a little bit of a color block going on here, And the yarn has the same kind of speckles, so they have little pink, blue, and yellow speckles. Oh, let's see if you can see that. Yep. And it fits. It's I knit it for my 2.5-year-old, and it fits perfectly. It's the size 2, and the next size is 4. So I figured this would be the right size. And it's really nice and warm. So I'm really happy about that, and I got to use up all the light color, and I still have a lot of this one left, which is like a khaki, weird green-brown color, sandy, with the same speckles. So I will think of something, but it has to be something relatively small. And so was that, and I'm really happy finishing that project finally. It had, oh, I didn't tell. The sweater was a stripy sweater, and so I only had short pieces of yarn, and I did so many. I have woven in so many ends that I don't know if you can even tell, but the inside is, no, you can't tell on the screen, but the inside is just full of woven in ends. But I didn't mind. I thought it would be a pity not to save this yarn because it's a really, really nice yarn. So that's what I did. Okay, on to the next project, which is actually one of my designs, and it was the second design I published, so this is pretty used. It's a headband, and it's the Drejø headband. I had to think. Drejø is an island on the southern of Fyn, on the southern part of Fyn, which is also an island. Fyn is a bigger island in the middle of Denmark, and underneath Fyn there's a bunch of little islands, and Drejø means the twisting island, so I thought it was quite fitting for this one. And this headband is knit in brioche and with a nice edging, so that gave me a little bit of a headache when I had to do the twisting, and that is also what people have been experiencing problems with, because if you look on the back of the twisting, it's actually not that pretty, but all this is hidden because I had to move the edge stitches to the other side, and this is what I came up with. It's a free pattern, so it hasn't been through a tech editor. It hasn't. I just did it the most simple and easy way I could. So yeah, there were some problems, and I had to do a lot of fixing afterwards after I uploaded it. So that was definitely a learning curve. Now I tried that. I didn't like that very much. I felt like I put out something not completely done, even though I thought it was completely done when I finished it. And oh well, you learn from that. And yes, so this headband is a free pattern on Ravelry. You can find it on my Ravelry page, which is Fiber Tales. And I knit it in the Gotland yarn, which is from a local mill. And it's in a really nice light gray colorway. I actually used 2 strands held together, and this yarn is so funny because it fluffs up and has the most beautiful halo, so it actually looks like you use some mohair or something, but it's 100%, well actually I don't think it's 100% Gotland. I think there's a little bit of merino in it because the Gotland fibers are a little bit hard to spin, so they put in some merino to make it easier, from what I know. I would put it on. Normally I don't wear it with my hair down. I wear my hair in a ponytail when I wear this because that's what I like to do. But you can see it has a pretty, it covers the ears, it's really warm and the wind doesn't go through, and you don't see any of the ugly stitches behind the cross, the crossing of the 2 sides, and I'm really pleased with it. I just really hope, because I still get messages from people who are experiencing problems getting the twist right, and I don't know, I looked at the pattern so many times and I cannot see if there should be anything wrong anymore, so I just hope it's okay. I guess at some point you have to let the pattern go a little bit, because I could spend so much time on answering back I answer back messages, but trying to figure out if it's my mistake or not, and at this point I'm just, it's a free pattern, enjoy it, try to figure it out. I mean, it worked for me and it worked for the people who tested for me, so I think it will work. And you have a really nice headband in the end, and I actually knit a few more for presents and so on. So enough about this one. And I forgot to mention the spinnery is called Gotland Ullspinneri. I will put the name, and you can buy the yarn in 100-gram skeins, and I think you can get about three headbands out of this one skein. So that's pretty great for presents. Okay, so when we're talking about Gotland wool, I have the most exciting finished object coming up, because I finished my first sweater design, and here it is. Let me see, it's the right side. It's actually the same on both sides. It has a brioche collar, and it goes all the way down and has a little bit of, oh, the light is going really strange now. Has a little bit of color work down here, just to ease the transition from the brioche to the stockinette. And the rest of the sweater is just plain stockinette. Now I'm gone. Hello. It's just plain stockinette. The body is really simple, and it has some sleeve shaping, of course. And in the end, I did, let's see if you can see that. Oh, the light is so weird. I did linen stitch on the edges, on the bottom here, and I am in love with this technique. I don't know if you can see it properly, but it just gives the most beautiful woven kind of fabric. And so when you look at the edge, it's straight, it doesn't have the ribbing, but doesn't go anywhere, it's completely flat. And I just think it's perfect, because I wanted it to be all about the brioche on top, and I wanted it to be as simple as possible for the rest, but still with some interesting detail. I think this sleeve is, I'm completely in love with this detail, and I will probably do it on other designs. That's what I wanted to say. And so here you have it. It's really warm and cozy. The top is just so amazing. Okay, so I should tell you a bit about what was the idea behind this sweater, because actually the yarn it's knit out of is Gotland yarn, and it's from the same spinnery or mill as the one I showed you before, but this yarn is only from my parents' sheep. So my parents have Gotland sheep, and they bring the yarn in and they have it spun into, and they bring the fleece in and have it spun into yarn in the colorway they decide. So they use their own sheep, but as the, I'll actually show you, just a second. I can show you an example, because now I'm completely covered in this beautiful sheep, I call it skin, rock? No, it's not a rock, it's a skin. Skin of a sheep from my parents' farm. And as you can see, the fleece goes from completely light gray to darker gray, and some of them have a little more brown in the end. I don't know if that's visible. So the brown color that you can see here, it's not so desired in the Gotland sheep. Mainly you want to have this beautiful gray color, and so you can have the yarn made up in different colorways. So depending on which parts of the fleece you use, and also they will blend in a little bit of a different yarn to get it to the color that you wish. But generally it's fleece from my parents' sheep. So here's one of the beautiful sheepskins, and actually we'll show you another one that I just got for Christmas, and it's beautiful. It's amazing. So this one is a little bit different, because this one is it's after the fleece has been cut, so it's a short cut sheepskin, and I don't know if you can see it, but look at the colors. Oh, look at the colors. It's just the most beautiful silvery gray color. Oh, I'm in love with it. And you can see it goes from almost black into this beautiful, beautiful sheep. And it's so soft. And this one is actually different from the other sheepskin I showed you, because it's washable. So this one is much softer and it's washable, whereas the other one I showed you is a little bit more hard. So this one I use in the chair and the other one I use on the floor. And I know showing skin might be a little bit weird for many people, because it's like a dead animal, and you know, there's been the whole you don't wear fur, and generally I would not wear fur and I would not have animal skins in my house. I find it a bit strange, but if you know where the skin comes from, I don't have a problem with it. These sheep are organically farmed or treated, I don't know. It's an organic farm and they only get organic food, and they are so well taken care of, and they are actually sheep for meat as well. So we use the fleece and the meat, and so it's a small flock of sheep, and every year the young ones are sent off to be made into nice delicious meat. And yes, it's not, I don't know, some people might find it strange, but most of us eat meat from the supermarket, so I prefer knowing where the meat comes from, and these animals have had the best life possible. And then why not also keep the skin, because this would otherwise just be thrown out. They are not using it for anything. So now we're getting the skin made into different types. So this one's washable, the other one's not. But it was not to talk so much about the skin. That was a little bit of a side note. It's just to show you what kind of fleece you get from the Gotland sheep. And it's very curly. Look at the little curls. It's beautiful. And it's a very funny fiber, because when you get it in the skein, I will try to find the skein for you, which I didn't prepare. Okay, so here you can see a ball of the Gotland yarn that I used for this sweater. And it looks almost hard and not that friendly. It's very rough. And it's not that nice to touch. So if you see a Gotland skein and you think, I'm not really convinced, this yarn is not looking or feeling very nice. I mean, it's rustic, and it's a nice rustic, but it's also like, it reminds me a bit of this rope that you use for plants, and I don't know. It's a bit ropey in the texture, but once you knit it up, it just becomes and once you start wearing it, because it just gets this beautiful halo. It softens up. It's so warm and lovely. I love this. So to get back to, I'm not sure if I started mentioning this, but the whole idea was that I wanted to knit something out of my parents' yarn. I had many colorwork sweaters with this yarn as a child, and I didn't want to make exactly a colorwork sweater. So I've been thinking about this for years, and I wanted to design or find a pattern, anything with this yarn. And then finally I was doing a bit of brioche swatching, and I thought it would look lovely if you tried it with a rustic yarn. And then I had this yarn and this one from my parents. And so this yarn is not from my parents, but it's from Gotland sheep anyway, from the same spinnery. And actually they had a huge batch made of this charcoal gray yarn, but also from an older batch they had it in a more light gray, probably a more, the color it will get when you mix the different light to dark. And so I thought, what if I do a brioche with these two colors? And it just worked. It just worked, and I was so happy that this idea worked. Okay, so didn't work all that well in the beginning, because I had to re-knit the yoke about 3 times, because trying to figure out how much brioche grows and how it works in a pattern was not that easy for me, and it was also a pretty new technique to me. And then when you learn a new technique that is considered a bit complicated, it's a good idea to make a sweater, so to design your own sweater in this technique. So it's been fun, and I learned quite a lot trying to make the sweater, but I finally managed. It's actually being tested right now, and I hope it will be ready for the end of January. Yeah, so for the end of January, this lovely sweater will be on Ravelry, and I hope you will take a look and see if it's something for you. It looks very different when it's knit up in other kinds of yarn. It looks very different when it's knit up in different colors. One of my testers, as you can see on my Instagram profile, she's called Anne. She tested it with actually the opposite colors. So she has a light color on the bottom, light gray, and a dark gray on the top. And then you actually get to see the beautiful part between the brioche. You can see it more on the back. Yeah, it looks like, is it visible? So it looks more like this. It's really difficult with this light, but yeah, then it has a different effect, which I think is really cool, that this pattern gives so many options to have different looks. And what I really love is the first time as a designer that I see people knit up my design, like a bigger design, and I'm just in awe about all the different color combinations, how different it looks on different people. For me, it makes it worth it. I mean, I'm not expecting to earn a lot of money on this pattern, and I put a lot of work into it. So for me, it's like payment. It's seeing what other people knit up, and it makes me so happy. And yeah, I really want to continue designing. It's really a dream for me to do more designs. So, okay, let's take a sip of tea because I'm talking and talking and talking. I like to make my tea with the leaves just in the water, and I always end up with tea leaves in my mouth. But this tea is lovely. It's a Christmas tea. Nobody cares if you drink Christmas tea in January. I bought a big bag, and I'm not gonna just not use it because it's no longer Christmas. So okay, so those were the finished objects, and now I'm gonna move on to a half-finished object I have. So this half-finished object lives in this lovely bag. Let me open it so you can see better. It says Mondim. I'm not sure about the Portuguese pronunciation, but I guess something like that, and it has the most beautiful legs on it. I got this project bag when I was in Lisbon, and I was visiting the Retrosaria yarn shop by Rosa Pomar. So inside this bag I have a skein of yarn, a very special skein of yarn, which is the Mondim, in the beautiful green and red. Yeah, it's a kind of speckle and color changing yarn. This one is 100% wool from the shop. Let me see if I can find the name somewhere. There you go. Let's see if it will focus somewhere, and the colorway is here. And I first learned about this yarn from Melody of Bee Mandarins, and I had to get it. But I knew I was going to Lisbon because my boyfriend had a conference there, and I was just coming along. So I went to the shop and I bought quite a lot of yarn, I have to say, and it was just amazing. I went back several times. The shop is beautiful. I mean, I can't say enough good things about the shop. If you ever go to Lisbon, it's a must. I mean, I would even go to Lisbon for the shop. It's just amazing. And yes, so I got one skein of this, and I think I will have enough for 2 pairs of socks. So I already knit one on my really bad sock blockers that I cut out from cardboard. And here you go. So you can see how the yarn is like doing this stripy effect. I think it's beautiful. And I knit this pair of socks for like a spring. The colors are so spring-like for me. They remind me of spring and summer. So I knit it in with a short cuff. Normally I like to do a longer cuff, but just because this one I thought I could use it with a little bit of bare legs showing. But to change it up from this being all the sock, I did the rib, heel, and the cuff, heel, and toe in a different yarn. Also because it's 100% wool, and I'm not sure how it will hold up. I'm pretty rough on my socks. I wear them in shoes a lot and out, and they get a lot of wear on the back. So I decided to do the cuff, heel, and toe in a different yarn, which is this one, which is a strange kind of off-white, grayish, oh, there's always hair on all my stuff, I'm sorry, color. And this yarn I got from a Danish website called Naturlig Beklædning, and it doesn't have a name. I don't think it's called sokkegarn, I think. And this yarn is from Switzerland, if I remember correctly, and it's a natural yarn with a wool with rami. So it's a natural fiber used to make it stronger. So I thought that was pretty cool to combine with this one, as this one is natural wool. So there's actually only natural products in this sock combination, and so I have one. And I started knitting the second one. I don't know where it is actually, but I'm not in a hurry. It's just like a little bit mindless project. I wrote everything down on my Ravelry, blah blah blah. Nobody can say that name. I don't know why they didn't come up with a better word for that website, but Ravelry. At least all the non-English speakings have problems with the R's. I do. So yes, I have it. I wrote down everything I did on Ravelry. It's just my whatever. I just made it up. It has a reinforced heel. I don't know if you can see it with slip stitches. And it has a twisted rib on the cuff. And I did a little... sometimes the words are gone. I did a little pearl, a little row of purling on the top, and yeah, the toes are just standard toes. And I like to do a heel flap and gusset heel, because I tried once only doing a different kind of heel, and it just didn't fit my foot. So maybe it was just I should try again. But when you have done something and it works for you, you just feel like it's easier to keep going with that. So this yarn is amazing. She has it in different colors. I will put a link to the website. I don't know what brand it is. Maybe you can ask her if you're interested of knowing, because I guess she gets it from somewhere. It didn't come with a label or anything. That's that. And that was my half object. And from the same shop, I got a lot of yarn. I'm not going to show everything today because it was in November, and this being the first podcast, I want to stop myself from going back too far. If not, I can show you everything I knit in the last 20 years. That would be fun. We could sit here all day. And happen again. Trying not to eat too many tea leaves. So I want to show you, this is a new design I'm working on. And I got, the yarn is actually, is this one, and isn't it beautiful? Look at the green color. It just reminds me of moss. It has this depth to it because, it doesn't want to focus, because of the little specks of light green, almost yellow, and different, actually has some bluish and blackish specks. It's so rich, and it's you can see the name here, the name of the shop, Retrosaria a Presenta. It's called Soft Donegal, and it's made in Ireland, I think, and it's 100% wool. It's 190 meters per 50 grams, and it's just amazing. And isn't the tag is just so sweet? All her tags are wonderful. I love them. And I actually wanted to get this yarn in a gray color, but they didn't have enough of it. And this is the gray. Oh, I bought one skein of the gray, which is more hairs, always full of hairs, which is amazing. Oh, it's not showing. It has this beautiful brown cinnamony specks. There. And yellow and other things. Okay. So I wanted to make it in this one, but actually now that I knit it up, I prefer the green one. So sometimes it works out perfectly that you cannot get the yarn you want, so you get a different colorway, and the other colorway might have been a better choice after all. So this gray one, I did a little swatch in the round for this sweater idea. I'm not gonna share all of the everything about this pattern because it's still a work in. I'm still working on it, and I want to send it off to testers, and then maybe I will start sharing a little bit more. But what I wanted to show you is I washed the swatch, and look at the yarn. I mean, I will show you the other. Well, let me just show you a strand of the yarn before being washed and after. Look what happens. It just pops up. It's a single ply yarn, 100% wool, and it just softens up and blooms in the most incredible way. I don't think I've ever seen a yarn do this before, and it's so soft. So this was the swatch, and I'm doing a top-down yoke sweater with this one. This is the back, and so it's a sneak peek. Whoop! I finished, and it's really, it doesn't look that pretty. It's a bit wonky because I haven't blocked it, and this yarn, when you block it, it just changed completely. So I'm sure it will look nice once I'm done. This is the sleeve, and it has little details on the yoke, which I'm not gonna go into too much into detail with, but I think it's gonna be amazing. Only thing I'm a bit sad about is for this design and picking a yarn with the little specks. This tweedy yarn is not showing the pattern off the best. I mean, you can see it in person, but in pictures it's gonna be really hard to show. So I'm thinking if I should knit it up again, and I have a yarn here that I thought I could knit it up in, which is the, let's see if I can show the name. It's the Sneldan. I don't know the correct pronunciation because this is from Faroe Islands, and they don't, even though it's a part of Denmark, of the Danish kingdom, they don't speak Danish. So Sneldan, that's the best I can do. But this yarn is, it's just perfect. I knit the, that's another finished object, and I have to show you. I will show you in the end. But I knit the first shawl by Melody from Bee Mandarins, and I knit it in this one, and this is the 3-ply. And I looked on the website, and the 2-ply would fit perfectly with the stitch, with the gauge for this yarn. So I thought maybe to get some more of this beautiful light gray colorway and do the sweater again, but that is a lot of knitting, and I have a lot of design ideas and knitting I want to do. So I'm not sure if I should, if I should do it again or just be happy with the way it looks, that even though it's not that visible, the pattern. Okay, so this one I'm working on, and this will be finished in, I'm thinking, a couple of days, because it's just sleeves and they're actually not, it knits up fairly quickly, and I can't wait to wash it because it's just gonna be so beautiful when I'm finished. I steamed it a bit with the iron, and I can see the pattern laying more flat the places I did it, so I'm pretty sure it's gonna look beautiful. So I think I will go down and get that finished object that I want to show you. So just wait a moment. This episode is a bit all over the place. I know it's the first episode, and to be honest, that's a bit the way I am. I'm not the most organized person. So just bear with me, and maybe it gets better in future episodes, maybe it doesn't. But this project I'm so happy with. Oh, look at it. This is not my design. It's by Melody Hoffman, Bee Mandarins. Oh, and it's turning a bit. But look, it has the most beautiful little eyelet pattern on the bottom, and then it goes into these amazing little trees that continue all the way up. And let me see Let me try to spread it out. Hello. And show you without burning it, because I have a candle next to me and I don't want to burn it. And this scarf is knit in the 3-ply Snelden, the one I showed you just before this one. But this is the colorway number 2. They just have numbers. This is number 2, and there's one more. Let's see if I can get that one out, which I also got, which is number 1. And number 1 is just a white, natural white. Then you have this one, and then the next one is this one, which is number 3, which is a really nice, still light, I think, gray, but not just a little more gray than the, so 1, 2, 3. And there's also number 4, and I don't remember, that one is much darker, and then I don't remember if they have another one before black, and then I have a few colors. But this is the first shawl, and I love this shawl because it's huge, and I actually really like this triangle shawls, and I wear it like this when I go out because it's cold where I live, and it just keeps me warm. And this yarn, it's rustic, but it's not scratchy at all. It's soft and wonderful, and after you wash it, oh, I'm sorry, after you wash it, it's even better. And yep, so this is my trusty going out combination lately. Let's just get dressed for going out. I bike to pick up my daughter, and I bike everywhere I go. Oh, this light looks like I'm in a dream. So yeah, I go like this, or I put on I have a hat I wear sometimes when it's really cold. I got this pattern a bit early because I'm on Patreon. I'm one of Melody's patrons. I'm not sure how you say that, but yes, I follow her. I'm subscribed to her Patreon account. Let me get some more tea. All this talking. And I can recommend that to everyone. It's wonderful. I love it. She's I missed her videos when she started doing more of the Patreon videos, and it took me a while to get in there and start paying, but it's worth it. It's perfect. So, and I got the shawl pattern through Patreon, and it's a big heavy shawl, but it's perfect for the cold winter days we're having in Denmark. Well, it's not actually not being that cold, but when I'm biking, it's nice to have something warm to wear that keeps the wind out. So that was another finished object. And then I found, when I was downstairs, oh, sorry, my face really close, I found this bag. Let me just show it. Oh. This is also from the shop in Lisbon. Danish way is Lisbon, and the English is Lisbon. So this is also from there, and inside this one I have a project that I'm working on. So another work in progress, and that's a little scarf. It's a bit wonky now because it's been not folded up so nicely. And this scarf is in the most amazing color. I don't know if you can see properly. I don't know what's happening to this light because it's just going all white. But it's just beautiful. It has a bit of different colors in there, but it's like a cinnamony goodness. This yarn is from Garn Udsalg, which is a Danish website that sells yarn pretty cheap. And this is 100% wool. And I think it's called Highlands wool. And my only complaint with this yarn, which is pretty nice and everything, you can see it's a pretty thin yarn, I'm holding it double, is that it stinks. Not even smells a little bit, it stinks of spinning oil. And I don't mind the smell of sheep. I grew up with the smell of sheep. This is not the smell of sheep, this is the smell of spinning oil. And it's, I hate it. I have to wash my hands every time I use it. And it's stated on the website, it's not a secret that the yarn has a bit of smell. Other yarns I bought from them was not that bad. This one is like, you can feel the oil, and it's really stinky. But I didn't feel like unwinding the ball and then washing it and wind it back. So I'm just knitting with it and making the best of it. and I had 100 grams in this cake. And here we have the project. So let's try not to drop anything. I have a lot of yarn over here, so this is the scarf I gave my dad for his birthday, and yes, I just gave him the cake and said, do you like this color? I will knit you a scarf, and he was happy with that. I would have preferred to give him an actual finished object, but didn't happen. And I'm just doing a really simple textured pattern, and I actually posted this pattern on my Instagram. So if you look for the latest picture with this picture of this scarf, there will be a really simple pattern, and I can explain it to you. It's so easy. You're just doing a rip, 1 by 1 rip. So knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. And then after you do that for 4 rows, you change and you do purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, knit. So it keeps shifting from, it's like a rip that you shift to one stitch to the side. I'm sure many of you know it, but I just thought I could post the pattern I asked first, and people seemed interested in a simple scarf pattern. Also because when I started knitting this, I didn't know how many stitches to cast on. So sometimes it's nice when somebody else has already tried it and you can just follow the instructions. So I'm just gonna knit it for as long as I have yarn for. I only have this one cake, and my dad doesn't wear scarves. He just wears it like once. He just crosses it, so it should be just like a bit longer on both sides. So I think I will have enough, and if I have enough yarn, I will do a little bit of fringe on the end because I like that old school look. So this is how much I have now, and I think I calculated I will have more or less enough for a 1 meter long scarf. So I think that will be great, and I'm gonna put this away because it's really smelly and I can't wait to wash it, and hopefully the yarn will also soften a bit and be a lot nicer once I wash it. So let's see. So that was another finished object in my really nice bag. And actually that bag I got for Christmas together with Lick needles. I love okay, I haven't used them for that long, but I think they're really nice, and I just fell in love with the way they look. So here you can see I have those that are not currently being used sitting here, and I just look at the colors, they change, and it's so beautiful. I only have one complaint with this set so far, and that is that the needles I'm using for this one, they lost the paint on the metal part, and it's so weird. Never happened to me before. Look at that. That used to be black. Here, those two used to be black, and it just came off while I've been knitting, and I only had them since Christmas, so it's not that I knit for many years. So I wrote the company, the Driftwood company behind the Lick needles, and they have been so great, and they just answered me back. I sent them a picture, and they will send me another set of needles. And as you can see, actually these are the short ones because they only had the short ones. And when I was in the shop, they're from the shop in Portugal, and when I was in there, I saw them, and I was hinting to my boyfriend that I would like these for Christmas, and he bought the needle set for me. So I hope it's only happening to these two, but I'm a little bit afraid it will happen to all of them. Anyways, they're gonna send me a new set of needles, so I think that will be fine. And I'm using the other ones in other projects, and so far the paint hasn't come off. You can see they're black, and they should be black. And actually it's really nice because you can see you can see the name in gold, and so that's the paint underneath, the size in gold. And I hope they survive. If not, I will probably write them again, and let's see what happens. So I have a short set. I have a lot of longer needles, the Knit Pro needles, so I didn't really need a long set, so I thought it would be nice with the short set. And I don't mind, my hands are really small, and I don't mind using the short set. So this is my Christmas present. Oh, it was the best Christmas present. He's so sweet, my boyfriend. So last project, and now I understand why podcasts are always super long, and I can see I'm already at 50 minutes, and probably I will cut some out, but it's happening. So, and I thought I could only talk for 10 minutes and it would be really bad, but this is not, it's actually working. So the last work in progress we have in here, in my little basket, and this yarn is just beautiful. Oh, I love this yarn. Look at it. So, well, maybe I should show you the project first and tell you what it is, but it's a little bit hard to see. Can you see what it is? Do you recognize this? I shared it on Instagram. Cuckoo. And it is the Birkin Sweater. I had to buy this this kit from, I'm not sure how to do the French, Urso, Yarn Co. From Canada, and she has this kit with the beautiful, look at the colors, and this vibrant light green, and then this dark green, which is just absolutely amazing with little pink specks, and then the base color, which is this one, and it just has a little bit of pink and yellow, and it's wonderful. And so I bought the kit after I saw it on her Instagram. I bought it on Etsy, and she sent it to me in a really nice box with a picture, with a drawing of the sweater in these colors, which I don't have right here. But it came quickly, and she was so sweet to write that it's a gift, so I didn't have to pay too much to receive the package from Canada, because that's one thing that always keeps me back from buying stuff from abroad, from outside EU, is simply the tax and the customs, and it gets so expensive. The yarn is already expensive, so so that was a really great surprise. And as you can see, here is the pattern. It's the leaves, and then I'm starting the little flowers, and there will be a huge section with flowers, and then one more with the leaves. It has short row shaping, so it has more space up here than down there. I'm doing it in a size small, and I actually got the kit for a size extra small, but the extra small was really small for some reason. I'm quite petite up on my shoulders, are quite small. I don't have a big bust, so normally I can do an extra small, but no, I'm not gonna try an extra small. So then I will just either crop the sleeves or the body. I don't think I will do the body has some A-line shaping. I don't think I will do that, so hopefully I can have enough yarn. We will see. If not, it will have short sleeves or something. I'm just gonna see where this takes me. I have to show you the pink, this one again. Isn't it pretty? And now this camera is not gonna focus because it's my phone, and I keep thinking it will focus, but no, it's not. So this is gonna be my sweater for Edinburgh Yarn Festival, because I'm going this year, and I'm so happy. I got the tickets together with 2 of my friends. We actually bought the plane tickets a long time ago because they were super cheap, and then we thought, okay, if we can get the plane tickets cheap, we can get an Airbnb cheap, then let's go. Why not? Edinburgh is not that far away in hours if you fly from Denmark, and yeah, we thought it would be a fun trip. And I never been to a knitting festival before, so I thought, let's start with a big one. Let's just go for one of the big ones. Trying to get all the leaves to the side. Oh. So we're going to Edinburgh, and it's gonna be amazing. I actually cannot buy any more yarn until we're back from Edinburgh, until we're in Edinburgh, because I don't want to. I want to have some money I can spend while we're there. And let me know if you're going to Edinburgh. It would be fun to meet up with some lovely people there and talk to somebody. I don't know, it's weird because I always look at the podcasters as like you know them, and I really wanted to do this podcast, and it's gonna be weird that if anybody watches this, they will feel like they know me too, maybe. I shouldn't think about it, then I just get all flushed and nervous about it. Yeah. I can get a little bit shy in those situations. But if you meet me, say hello. I would love it. It would be a lot of fun. So, I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I could talk a lot more about what I dream to knit in the future. I have a lot of things I could talk about, but I think I will try to keep this short, and it's my first episode, and see if anybody watches, and then I can try to do some more episodes. And yeah, say hello, please comment, please. If this becomes a thing, I will probably make a Ravelry group, but for now I'm just realizing that the camera is over here. I'm probably looking somewhere else all the time, and that is something I have to learn. But what I was saying is I would probably make a Ravelry group if this becomes a more regular thing. And but for now, I don't think I will. I take things slowly. And also, yeah, say hello. Come follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm most active and where I post the most about my knitting, my designs. I call for testers there, and I will try to record an episode soon. I hope this quality of the phone is good enough. I hope this quality of the phone is good enough that it's watchable and not too crappy, because using my camera would mean huge files, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that, but I have a camera, I can try that. If you have any suggestions or anything you would like to hear me talk about, I would love to do that. I'm sure this has been all over the place because I'm a little trying to figure out how this works and how it feels like. Please be kind if anything was weird or my grammar was off or the pronunciation. Let's just finish this off by saying thank you for watching till the end. I hope to hear from you. I hope you give it a little like, because it will mean a lot and it will give me a bit of confidence to record more episodes. And I will see you soon. Bye.